الرحیم السلام علیکم. قال اللہ تعالیٰ فی کلامہ المجید ان اللہ علی کل شیء قدیر. صدق اللہ العظیم. تیری نگاہ میں ثابت نہیں خدا کا وجود، اور میری نگاہ میں ثابت نہیں وجود تیرا. وجود کیا ہے؟ فقط جوہر خودی کی نمود. کر اپنی فکر کہ جوہر ہے بے نمود تیرا. My dear brothers and sisters, today I have a very simple message. Before Azan time starts and we have our formal prayer for Jumatul Mubarak, I thought that I engage you a little bit in a little message that I feel important for all of us to have, and that is we have to really nourish our spiritual being so that we can benefit from all the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that have been given to us in this life. I will translate this two verses that I recited from Iqbal, and then try to expand on the message that he's tried to give us. I started by saying, Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is really in charge of everything. He has all the power to do whatever he wants. And this is how basically he has created this universe. He has given a special status to humans. And he has tried to use humans to do his work. Humans is me and you. We have to understand that we have to do his work. And his work basically is to take care of his creation. Anything and everything that he has created, he loves it. And he has given a mission to everything. Plants have a certain function to give us oxygen and we can breathe and whatever. And we have a responsibility to make sure that we take care of the plants. When we see something not right, try to fix it. I gave the example of plants, but there are other things, the animals and the things that are all around us. We should feel that we have to be more or less agents of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do all of this. It's important. Now let me translate this verse, which is beautiful really. He says, Teri nigah mein sabit nahi khuda ka wajud. The way you see it, it's not proven that God exists. In other words, the way you look at it as a person with intelligence and intellect and all that, you feel that I cannot prove that God exists because I cannot physically see him and I don't know if he's there or not, and if he's there, what he does and what he doesn't do. He said, but meri nigah mein sabat nahi wujud tera. Iqbal says, the way I see it, I don't think that you have any existence so far. You don't even exist. I cannot prove that you are out there. He says, why? And then he gives in the second line the reason why he says that. He says, Wajud kya hai? What is existence? What is your being? What is your physical being? Jawhar Khudi ki Namud, appearance of your spiritual being from within you. That seed that you have inside you has to grow. Seed is there, but it has not become a plant. I can't see it. So you don't exist until your spiritual being becomes manifest. Unless you have a spiritual existence. Until the spirit that is within you is purified enough to start growing and start getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That spiritual being, which is the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala breathed into Adam, so that he had an existence and he had that spirit of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in him. All of us have too. So unless we recognize that, which Iqbal called Khudi, but it's a spiritual being. And unless that seed grows and becomes a plant and then it becomes really manifest and then it gets closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you grow 1%, then 10%, then 15%, 20%, and if you become 100% close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you are mard kamil. You are a fully grown human being, a person, perfect human being. A time comes in that journey when you lose your physical being and your spiritual being takes over. And when that spiritual being takes over, then you have nothing to say. Everything is being now dictated to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything and everything that you do then is with permission of Allah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes over. He uses you then to do things that are unbelievable. But you then have to lose everything. Can you imagine those people that were having their 40 days somewhere on, let's say Moses goes up there for 40 days and he's on Mount Tur wanting to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and getting his message. What was he eating? What was he drinking? How was he maintaining his life? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically somehow or the other arranges that. And people do that. The same thing we know about Maryam. When she was there in Kaabatullah and she was sitting there basically, she was getting fruit and drinks to eat, things that did not even exist in Saudi Arabia. And it was coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She was sustaining herself, not going out to do anything or whatever. And yet, all of that was taken care of. I'm giving these examples from Al-Quran basically, so you don't have any difficulty believing it. But quite frankly, the same Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that existed then exists today. He has all those powers that he had then. He has all those powers today. So what we have to do is realize that within us there is an entity that is our spirit, that is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to purify it, nurture it, grow it so that we can get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a time comes when He's so pleased with us that He gives us all those abilities to do things that are otherwise unbelievable to human beings. Let me just conclude by saying that you cannot really deny this kind of a phenomenon because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made sure that He puts that in Al-Quran. A person with the knowledge of the book, a Mard Kamil that was sitting in Hazrat Sulaiman alayhi salam's cabinet, he was able to bring the throne of Queen Sheba from thousands of miles away, right at the within a blink of an eye in the cabinet for Sulaiman alayhi salam to see it. This is possible because that person had basically permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whatever he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do for him. Because his wish was the same wish as if he was so close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he could basically get things done with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The same thing when Ibrahim alayhi salam said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that how will you revive the dead? And Allah said, don't you believe me? I mean, all this time I thought that you knew it and you still have. He said, no, I believe you, but I just want to see it to get a perfect faith in that. Then he says, you get 4 birds and tell them how to respond to your voice, they'll come back to you. And then one day you kill them and put them together, mince them together and put 4 pieces or 3 pieces, whatever, on different hilltops and then call them. They are dead and they're feathers and all that stuff, and yet you call them and they'll come to you. And that happened. Then Ibrahim alayhi salam said that Hada min fadl Rabbi, this happens with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The point to remember is that ability exists today also. There are humans that are running Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's work today, taking care of His creation, taking care of His people. Khizr alayhi salam is one example. He's still around and he does things that are unbelievable. Otherwise, somehow or the other things happen and then you don't see that. And that people can come in different shapes, different forms. And that reminds me, so is the devil, so is Shaitan. Shaitan also is sometimes around in shapes of human beings, sometimes people that you may even know. They are given for a short while a little bit of a mission that is shaitani or satanic. And they do that, they do devil's work. And we always have to say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Always seek Allah's kind of cover or Allah's guidance and Allah's protection from the deeds or thoughts that are satanic. So all of this we really have to understand, believe, and more or less realize that we have been given certain characteristics, certain abilities, certain kind of talents, and we should use them basically to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation. When you simply smile on somebody, even that can actually change somebody's mood. And whatever else you can do for people and for things around you, it's always very, very satisfying to you and very pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. बहाना ढूंढती फिरती है रहमत मौला, बड़ी ख़ता है जो बंदा कोई दुआ ना करे या ख़ता ना करे. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking for reasons to forgive us, and all we have to do is submit to Him, and we should really submit to Him and say that it's with your mercy and grace that we can seek salvation. We cannot really depend on any good deeds that we might think we be doing, because good deed things are good, and yet they are not a guarantee that you will pass the test. To pass the test, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's grace and mercy must be included. And it's very easy to get that. Just ask Him, oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I am nothing before you. Your mercy is boundless. Forgive my sins, forgive my mistakes, forgive things that I do bad, and I'm looking towards your mercy to forgive me. All you have to do is just submit and believe yourself that He's going to do it, because you ask for it and He says, I am looking for an excuse to forgive you. Even there is a hadith that even beloved Prophet, when he mentioned that nobody can really count on their deeds, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy is very important for our forgiveness at the end, success in the hereafter. One of the companions asked, how about you? And our beloved Prophet said, yes, including me. Although with all the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given me, even then I count upon His mercy. Without His mercy, I cannot even enter the paradise. We have to remember this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to treat His creation as a responsibility that we have. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the